Every day morning we come to the temple hall during Mangalarti time. We see all the mats are put, the cane stand, tables, mic stand, things are ready. We come for the class. Again, the asana, the books, the mic is on and things are kept ready. If someone says, "Oh, I come to temple hall every day morning," somehow the mats will be there in its place. Somehow the mic system will be on. Somehow some lights will be on. Some few lights are on, those behind lights are off. Somehow it happens. Is it somehow it happens? No. There are conscious people working behind it. Specifically which light should be on, which should be off, which mat should be put, where it is supposed to be put, exactly which length it should be there, everything controlled. The mic volume, not too much high, neither too low, some standard should be there. All of these things happen by a conscious person applying his intelligence. Similarly, the world we live in, every day morning, 6 o'clock, around that time, the sun rises. Again in the evening, the sun sets. And timely, whatever rainy season comes, winter comes, summer comes, and cyclically these things are going on. And if someone says, somehow automatically it's happening, somehow now November month, winter will start, somehow it may start, it may not start also. No, it is bound to happen. There are conscious living entities behind all of this arrangement. An intelligent person identifies who is that person. If at all we want to make some changes, just like now it is, like say we may feel it's winter time or little cold, we may prefer not switching on the fan. But when it is summer, we want to switch on the fan, we want to make out who is that person who is operating, how it should be operated, which light should be on, if at all mat is not okay. We try to identify the person and make the required adjustments. Likewise, we human beings, compared to any other animal, being gifted with little higher intelligence, we face some problems in our life, some diseases will be there, so many other number of problems, natural disasters, so many things we face. And we also, applying our intelligence, we try to make some adjustments. We construct some hospitals, we have a lot of medicines, lot of science, technology we apply and try to make ourselves comfortable. Try to make ourselves free from painful conditions. But in this endeavor, will never be successful until and unless we recognize the person behind. I do not wish to die. I do not wish to become diseased. I do not wish to become old, but still these things are forced upon me. How it is being forced upon me? Who is that person behind all of these things, this arrangement? If we can identify, and after identifying, okay, that person is there, he'll tell, no, do like this, don't do this. Then you'll be relieved from these painful conditions. And sincerely, if you are ready to follow that person's instructions, yes, it will happen. It is bound to happen. On the other hand, foolishly, if we start speaking, no, nothing is there, there's no one behind, simply somehow things are going on, somehow, generally we use this term by nature. What? Whose nature? Nature is there means, or energy is there means, there is a person, energetic. Krishna specifically says that in the Bhagavad Gita. Maya dhyakshena prakritihi suyate sacharacharam hetunanena kaunteya jagad viparivartate. Maya adhyakshena, under my superintendence, the material nature creates, maintains and destroys all the movable and immovable things what we see around. The same thing is confirmed in the Brahma Samhita, wherein it is stated, Srishti Sthiti Pralaya Sadhana Shakti Reka Chayeva Yasya Bhuvanani Bibarti Durga Ichchanurupam api Yasya cha Cheshtate sa Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. Srishti, Sthiti and Pralaya, creation, maintenance and destruction. All of these things are being done by material nature. We see things around, new things being created, new plants, new animals being born, and all of these some creations we see. And there is maintenance. Every living entity is being provided with its food, shelter, home, everything. And there are 8.4 millions of varieties of species, each species with variegated requirements of food, shelter and different things, and every living entity is being provided. So there is big arrangement for maintenance. And then destruction. Just in the previous verse we were reading how the Lord in his form as Kala, Kalaha Kalayatam Prabhuhu, as Kala, the Supreme Lord comes and destroys everything. Whatever endeavor we may put to maintain things properly, to set things right, one or the other day, everything in this material world is bound to be destroyed. So, this Srishti Sthiti Pralaya Sadhana Shakti Reka Chayeva Yasya Bhuvanani Bibarti Durga. So the energy of the Lord, the material nature is Durga Shakti. Through her, the Supreme Lord is able to perform all of these activities. And how? The example of the shadow is given. Chaya iva. Chaya means shadow. Just like there is the light, and if I move my hand, the shadow falls below. I move my hand towards my left, the shadow also follows to the left side. I move my hand to the right side, the shadow also turns towards the right, and accordingly However, the movement of the hand is there, accordingly the shadow will move or act. Likewise, the Supreme Lord is there, and this material nature is just like his shadow. He performs his movement, and accordingly, by his will, the shadow performs its activity. Chayeva yasya bhuvanani bibarti durga. So, Mother Goddess Durga, she performs the activity of creation, maintenance, destruction under the direction, superintendence of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. So this we need to understand. So that's what it's being said here. Yad bhayat vati vatoyam. Vata means air. The air blows. Yad bhayat. On the fear of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So there is fear, because of which the air blows or doesn't blow. What needs to be done? It acts under the order of the Supreme Lord. Likewise, Suryaha tapati yad bhayat. We go outside, we see the sun in the sky and look there and think, yes, now the sun is shining because of the fear of the Supreme Lord. Shri Krishna Balarama ki jai. If the fear of the Supreme Lord was not there, the sun would have not cared to shine at all. No, it is shining every day morning, the sun rises, and at appropriate time the sun sets. So there is fear factor. Because of fear, these things are happening. Likewise, yad bhayat varshate devo. The deva or the devata, the demigod in charge of rains. Yad bhayat. Out of fear of the Supreme Lord, he sends forth the rains. Bhagano bhati yad bhayat. Bhagana means night time we go outside, look at the sky, innumerable luminaries we see. Stars shining, the moon shining, all of these. So all of them are shining yad bhayat. Out of fear of the Supreme Lord. In this material world, just like in the previous verses we were hearing, everyone are fearful of death. So it is because of this fear factor we are put into activity, we work. Otherwise, if fear is not there, the tendency is to become lazy in this material world. This world is created in such a way by the Supreme Lord. So every person, he works out of fear of whatever it may be, his maintenance, his requirements, fear of another person's to fulfill his desires. Many things are there. Out of fear we work. Likewise, there are many devatas in charge of air, the sunlight, water, rains. So out of fear of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, they perform their duties. I'll read one portion from the Krishna book, from the portion of the prayers of the Vedas. We find towards the end in the Krishna book, there is a beautiful prayer of the Vedas, very lengthy prayers. So they describe many things. So in one of their prayers, it goes like this. The demigods and material nature herself offer you tribute. So they are addressing the Supreme Lord and they are praying. The demigods and material nature herself offer you tribute while also enjoying the tribute offered them by their worshippers. So the devatas, there are many devotees who worship different devatas and offer their tributes, their offerings to them, and the devatas, they accept them and give them whatever their desired rewards. Is it that completely they are independent in doing this? The answer is no. They accept the reward and they offer it to the Supreme Lord. While also enjoying the tribute offered them by their worshippers, Just as the subordinate rulers of various districts in a kingdom offer tribute to their lord, the ultimate proprietor of the land, while also enjoying the tribute paid them by their own subjects. So here the example of like different people are there in charge of different states or districts, places and all. So they exact tribute or taxes through the common people. They keep something for themselves and then they are supposed to pay to the king. So this we have heard in the case of Raghunath Das Goswami, how his father and his uncle Hiranya Majumdar and Govardhan Majumdar, they were big zamindars in charge of that Saptagram area. Many villages are there, they are the zamindars and they are supposed to collect taxes and maybe monthly or some yearly, some whatever, one portion of the amount they are supposed to go and give it to the king. And we have heard the story how there was some miscommunication or some clash between these two zamindars and the minister in charge of that in the royal palace, and he came for arresting them. So out of fear they had to leave their home and go away. Both Hiranya Majumdar and Govardhan Majumdar. And finally that minister, he came and he captured Raghunath Das Goswami and took him to his palace and whatever, put him to jail. So this story we have heard. So we may see, okay, big zamindar, he comes and out of whatever fear of him, people they give their taxes to him, but he is also fearful of his superior, the minister, and the minister is fearful of the king. So likewise, except for Krishna, the Supreme Lord, everyone are subordinate, everyone are dependent, everyone has to work out of fear. Only the Supreme Lord, He is supremely independent, Swarat we say. So here the Vedas continue to pray. So that's what it is said here. Just as subordinate rulers of various districts in a kingdom offer their tribute to their lord, the ultimate proprietor of the land, while also enjoying the tribute paid them by their own subjects. In this way, the universal creators faithfully execute their assigned services out of fear of you. So all the universal leaders or kings or executors, people in charge, all of them execute their assigned services out of fear of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So in whatever capacity it may be, big devatas starting from Brahma, the in charge person of the entire universe, all the devatas and their subordinates, everyone has to work under the fear of the Supreme Lord, Yad Bhayat. Now, the Supreme Lord, okay, here we are hearing how out of fear, whatever, the wind should blow, and if it are the Lord orders, no, now you don't blow, it should not blow. Fully under His control. Let us see few pastimes of Krishna, how the Supreme Lord, when He performed His pastimes in this material world, how He enacted. We can understand through various pastimes. Just like one story I could remember, in the Govardhan Parikrama route, if we go, we come across Manasi Ganga, from wherein we start the Govardhan Parikrama. So there, a lot of nice pastimes are related, whatever the Lord enacted in that place. There is one story which goes like this. It seems the place is known for Lord Krishna's boat pastime. Krishna, in the disguise of a boatman, he was there, and all the gopis headed by Radharani and others, young cowherd girls, they had to take all their milk, butter, curds, ghee, everything, and they wanted to travel, go to the other bank. And Krishna, in the disguise of the boatman, he made them sit inside the boat and started rowing. And it seems at one point of time he stopped. And he asked, why did you stop the boat? So he says, I am very tired, I want to eat something, I am very hungry, I can't row my boat, and whatever, no energy, I want to eat something. So you give all that, whatever, butter, curds, milk, whatever you have brought. So everything they gave it to him, he ate nicely. Okay, now you continue. No, I want to take some rest, take a nap, and then you press my feet, then I will continue. They became very angry, they told you, I will throw you out of the boat. You start and move the boat. Okay, he started rowing the boat, and after some time again he stops. And then he says, no, my boat is very old. It is almost like about to drown. The water is seeping inside. So what should we do? We should reduce the weight of this boat. So throw all these pots outside. So they had to throw the pots. Still it is not sufficient. Throw all your jewelry, ornaments, everything outside to the river. And like that it went on. And finally, they were very angry, and Krishna made an arrangement, and strong wind started blowing. He ordered the wind, and they couldn't make out. Immediately, such a heavy storm was there, and the water, high waves are there. The boat started tossing, and finally, after everyone became fearful. And we hear how after Radharani, she embraced Krishna. Then everything settled. Then she could make out through his flute, oh, this is none other than Krishna. So then everything settled down. The wind, it became normal. So whenever he wants, he'll make it blow. Just like we hear in the story of Trinavarta also. Baby Krishna is there in the house of Mother Yashoda, crawling, walking on 4 legs. And this huge demon comes, and with whatever whirlwind and all the dust particles of Vrindavan, everything goes up, and they are unable to see anything. It has become fully dusty, and things are flying like anything, and they couldn't make out what's happening. And the wind is blowing like anything, and the Trinavarta demon, he took away Lord Krishna. And the residents of Vrindavan, they are seeing Krishna up in the sky. And then Krishna exhibited his form, whatever, he became very heavy, and the Trinavarta, the demon, he fell, whatever, smashed on the ground, and he died. So this is the potency of Krishna. And then Yad bhayad vati vatoyam, then Surya stapati yad bhayad, the sun. How Krishna can control the sun also. Similarly, in Vrindavan there is another place next to Madan Mohan temple. There is this Dvadashaditya Tila. So there it is said how that's very close to Kaliya Ghat. After Krishna killing Kaliya, sorry, not killing, he chastised Kaliya, and he was inside the water for such a long time. And because staying in waters for such a long time, he may be having cold, so he sat on top of this hillock under the sun. It's like we also, if we are feeling cold, we go to the sun and spend some time to make ourselves warm. So Krishna sat on that Dvadashaditya Tila, on that hillock there, and under the sun. So the sun god, it seems, it is said, he expanded into 12, Dvadasha means 12, simultaneously, as if 12 suns glowing with full effulgence to make Krishna warm. So much intense heat was there, and finally Krishna started sweating, and all that sweat water collected in one place, which is known as Praskanda Sarovara. It is formed there. So this we see. When Krishna wanted the sun to glow nicely, it glows. And similarly, during the 14th day of Mahabharata war, Arjuna had promised that by sunset, I'll kill this, what's his name, Jayadratha. He was the reason for Abhimanyu's death. So he had promised the previous night that within next day evening, before sunset, I'll kill him, otherwise I'll enter fire. So whole day, all the entire Kaurava army was standing just to protect Jayadratha on that day. So that somehow if we are able to protect him, if Arjuna is not able to kill him, he'll enter fire and okay, now big hurdle for us will be gone. But whole day, whatever, lot of things happened, and finally just few minutes are left, and minutes are left for the sunset. And Arjuna and Krishna, they are seated in the chariot, they come forth, and all the Maharathas, many of them are standing as a shield to protect Jayadratha. Many of them, maybe more than 8 or 10, all Drona is there, Karna is there, Duryodhana is there, Shalya, Shakuni, everyone are there. And within few minutes are left for the sunset, and Krishna could make out. Just within these minutes, these Maharathas, they cannot be overpowered, and Arjuna cannot reach Jayadratha. What can be done? And Krishna made an arrangement. Sun, now you should stop shining. Somehow, whatever his Sudarshana disc, he made the sunshine to stop, and everyone started thinking, now okay, the sun is set. And Jayadratha, happily he comes out of his chariot and he started bragging in front of everyone. Oh Arjuna, you couldn't do anything. See, now you should keep up your word. I'll set the fire for your funeral pyre. Like that he started bragging in front of everything. And minutes after that, Krishna told the sun, now you come again, you shine. They were able to see a few sun rays, and then it was not yet evening, and Jayadratha was just in front of Arjuna. Arjuna shot and he killed Jayadratha in front of all of those big Maharathas. So, if Krishna wants, this is how. Surya stapati yad bhayat, and then yad bhayat varshate devo. So when the Lord wants rain, it will shower. If He doesn't want, it won't. This we see when we go to Navadvip, Mayapur. There is one place known as Belpukur. In that Simanta Devi temple, that area, if we go, there is a village. There we have heard how the past time, when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, along with all of his associates, they were performing kirtan in the evening, and they were going from village to village. At one point of time in that place, it is said how when they were performing kirtan and going, thick clouds started coming towards their place. Dark clouds, it is coming towards them, and all the devotees, they become very fearful. Oh, now it may start raining very heavily. Dark clouds and sound and thundering and all of those things. Any moment it will start raining, and they all became very fearful. So Mahaprabhu, looking at their condition, he took the kartal into his hand, and it seems he started leading the kirtan. At one point of time, he raised both of his hands up as if to indicate the clouds to stop, not to rain. And within few minutes, the devotees, the pastime goes like this, how all the clouds, they scattered and it did not rain, and devotees continued to perform their Nagar Sankirtan happily. So, all these different things, what we see happening in the outside world, it's not without the sanction of the Supreme Lord. Everything happens by the sanction, by the will of the Supreme Lord. So, all these great devatas, they perform their duties out of fear. So now, as devotees, we should also make a choice. Is it that through all of my endeavor, I will acquire some big position or some big it may be a big state or big planet or big universe, whatever it may be, even up to that capacity, and I start controlling things, or I start doing all of these things, No, everywhere we have to perform activities out of fear. But there is an alternative for devotees to perform activities out of love towards the Supreme Lord. So if we are able to do this, by practice of devotional service, devotees lovingly they serve the Supreme Lord. And they just depend on the Supreme Lord for all of their requirements, even basic necessities, everything, simply being dependent on the Supreme Lord. If this is done, Ma Shuchaha, do not fear, Krishna assures. So here in the end, I just read two verses, very beautiful verses, which is mentioned in the portion of the prayers of the Vedas. These are the prayers offered by, like say, composed by Sridhara Swami, great commentator of the Bhagavatam, because there are many people who say there is no God, God is dead, only energy, he is not a person, he is impersonal, he is void. Varieties of ways people speak about him. So, Sridhara Swami, he prays, Tapantu tapai prapatantu parvatat, atantu tirthani patantu chagaman, yajantu yager vivadantu vader, harim vina naiva mritim taranti. So this last line we have heard, Srila Prabhupada quotes this many a times, harim vina naiva mritim taranti. Without the mercy of the Supreme Lord, we cannot cross over this material world of birth and death. So here it is said, tapantu tapaihi. Let the people, let whatever so-called who are non-devotees, different varieties of people are there, different things they speak about the Supreme Lord. Tapantu tapaihi. Let them perform various kinds of austerities. Let them suffer austerities. Prapatantu parvatad. Let them throw themselves from mountain tops. So many nonsense things people do. Prapatantu parvatad, from the mountain tops, let them fall down. Atantu tirthani. Let them travel to different holy places and spend their time and energy in that way. Then patantu chagaman. Let them study various scriptures and become big jnanis and scholars and panditas. And then yajantu yager. Let them worship with great big fire sacrifices. Vivadantu vader. And let them argue various philosophies. God is this, God is that, God is not there, He is dead. Hundreds of philosophies. Let them argue and spend their time. But harim vina naiva mritim taranti. Until and unless they surrender to the Supreme Lord, they'll never be able to overcome the pangs of this material world. They'll never be able to overcome specifically death. And then last, then he continues to pray, Kvaham buddhi adi samruddhaha, kvacha bhuman mahastava, dina bandho daya sindho, bhaktim me nrihare disha. Kvaham buddhi adi samruddhaha. My dear Lord, who am I or what am I? I am being entrapped by the material coverings of worldly intelligence and so on. Buddhi adi samruddhaha. The 5 gross elements, the 3 subtle elements. I am being covered. I am being entrapped by all of these things. Helplessly, I act based on whatever their indications. And then, who are you? Kvacha bhuman mahastava. And what is your position? And what are your glories by comparison to mine? You are the Supreme Lord. Dina bandho daya sindho. Dina bandhu, you are the friend of the fallen. Daya sindhu, you are the ocean of mercy. Bhaktim me nrihare disha. O Lord Narahari, please bless me with your devotional service. So this is a devotee. He understands his position. He understands the position, how great the Supreme Lord is, how infinitesimal I am. I am part and parcel of the Supreme Lord, eternal servant of the Supreme Lord. Now I am in this fallen condition, rotten in this rotten condition in this material world. So he understands all of these things and he prays to the Supreme Lord. The Lord, He is Dina Bandhu, friend of the fallen, Daya Sindhu, ocean of mercy. O Lord, kindly bless me with your devotional service. So we'll end with this. Grantraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Srila Prabhupada ki,